Well, I was right. The last IKORIA spoilers came out today, and hence I will be reviewing them and ranking them. I was indeed correct. It's basically just all the common cards that have got leaked today. So I'm going to try and speed up the process as much as I can. Most of the common cards are going to be down in C and D anyway. But who knows? We might get a B common. Wouldn't that be something? Well, I don't want to labour the introduction too much, so let's just get on with the first card. Hey, so before we get on with the rest of the video, if you could consider liking the video, commenting the video, subscribing if you enjoyed it and hitting the bell icon, and also you could follow us on Facebook and Twitter if you enjoy magic memes, and also follow us on Twitch where you get to watch videos like this happen live. So yeah, let's just get on with it. So the first card we've got is Springjaw Trap, and it's a 1 mana artifact with flash. 4 and tap it, sack it, deals 3 damage to any target. So this is just like the bottom of the barrel draft pick removal that you need to take. Goes swiftly into D. Generally speaking, these are the kind of cards that you just hate being left with rather than necessarily being good. Card number 2 is Sleeper Dart. This is kind of interesting. It's a 2 mana artifact. When it enters the battlefield, you draw a card and you can tap it and sack Sleeper Dart, and target creature doesn't untap during its controller's next untap step. I think this is like, it's not removal, but it's one of those like useful draft picks. Again, still a D pick, but the draw card is quite nice. I'd be inclined to put this card in like high D, if there is such a category. Just the 2 mana draw card and artifact can actually fit into Doom Foretold decks. That's not terrible. So this card might be legitimately like E tier card with an effect. So Adaptive Shimmerer, it's a 5 mana colourless insect creature. It comes in with 3/1/1 counters on it, and it has flash, sure, but like, Jesus, 5, even in draft, I would hate to pay 5 mana for this. Sure, it can like, you know, you can flash in and block a guy, but I would literally rather anything else than have to play this card. Big pass, and you can go there where you belong. So here's a card I genuinely don't really know what to think of, and this is Yorion Sky Nomad, and it is a 5 mana 4/5 Bird Serpent legendary creature, and it's 3 and Azores to cast. So it has a companion effect. Your starting deck contains at least 20 cards more than the minimum deck size, and it has flying. When it enters the battlefield, exile any number of other non-land permanents you own and control. Return those cards to the battlefield at the beginning of the next end step. So this is an interesting card because in my head I go like, right, well, you've got Elswith Conqueror's Death, you've got Agent of Treachery, you have whatever other ETB effects you want to just get triggered, but at the same time, is that enough to win the game by triggering effects up to, you know, 5 mana or so? I just don't know if it's worth it. Now, theoretically, because of the companion thing, like, it's not good. It's not good. So I'm going to put this card in C, because this is horrible. But if you have your whole deck based around that, and then you go, okay, right, I've got all these permanents, bang, blink, everything, could be funny, but I doubt it's enough to win a game off of. And for that, it's probably not very good. But I like the card. I'm going to go into high C. Being able to blink your entire board, it's like Thassa on crack. However, Thassa is Thassa on crack, so this is actually Thassa in rehab, I guess. So, sorry, you're just almost useful. If it was 4 mana, I'd be way more inclined to play it. Alright, moving on to Titan's Nest, and this is a 4 mana enchantment, which is so it's like one of these 4 mana, like, 3 colour enchantments that we've got. So this is 1, a black, a green, a blue to cast. At the beginning of your upkeep, look at the top card of your library. You may put that card into your graveyard. Exile a card from your graveyard. Add colourless mana. Spend this mana only to cast a coloured spell without X in its mana cost. Right, sure. I think this card is actually really, really good. I think the fact that you can just constantly go, oh no, I need that in my grave, no, I need that in my grave, is very, very powerful, as well as it gives you a little bit of mana every single turn. I can definitely see the decks that there's so much self-mill in this set, So the decks that need that, I would imagine this card is a complete auto-include. But I don't think that this, you wouldn't build your deck around that, and I think that's where the B and A cards kind of come into, where they're like powerful enough that you would like, they're either like auto-includes and just decks of that colour, or like you would build a deck around it. But this is, you know, it's still not something you build a deck around. However, the card is really, really good, so it's going in high C, which seems totally fair if you ask me. So the next card is Genesis Ultimatum, and frankly I think this card kind of explains why the Jeskai Ultimatum actually sucks dick. So for 7 mana, you've got a sorcery that's 2 green, 3 blue and 2 red to cast. Look at the top 5 cards of your library, put any number of cards from among them onto the battlefield and the rest into your hand, exile this card. Now that's actually absurd, because really think about this. The other card draws 5, but you still have to pay the mana over X turns to cast those cards. This, you just get 5 for free. The life gain and the deal 5 damage to any target is irrelevant, basically. Those effects just are nowhere near as powerful as just getting to cast 5 things for nothing. Not even cast, just put them on the board. So this card is absurdly good. I'm actually going to go as far to say this card is actually A tier, to be honest, because the other one was B. This is absolutely better than that. So yeah, Genesis Ultimatum is definitely yeah, probably it goes in with the other ultimatums. This card's absurd, but just 5 things for nothing. Yeah, thank you. I will absolutely take that. You can put that right in the menu. Alright, so the next bunch of cards are basically just commons, so we can just fire out a whole load of these. Right, so first of all, we've got Survivor's Bond, which is a 2 mana green sorcery. Choose one or both. Return target human creature card from your graveyard to your hand. Return target non-human creature card from your graveyard to your hand. There's so many variations of these effects at like basically 1 to 3 mana cost. This just fires into the pile of all those cards. Goes into C, doesn't it? It does what it does, right? Certainly not an unusable effect, but it's just kind of meh. Next we've got a card, and this is one of the better commons. So we've got a 1 mana green instant, and target creature gets +1/+3 till the end of turn. Put a reach counter on it and untap it. That's a whole lot for 1 mana, and I quite like this. I think this is a perfectly cromulent C card. Probably one of the better combat tricks that the set actually has in a limited format. So yeah, I think this is like a nice C limited card that we could, yeah, I like it. I like it a lot, really. Next we've got Ram Through, which is a 2 mana green instant. Target creature you control deals damage equal to its power to target creature you don't control. If the creature you control has trample, excess damage is dealt to that creature's controller instead. So if you made a big mutate guy and it's got death touch, you death touch a guy and it tramples damage over. Kind of cool. It just does exactly what it needs to do. It's not like underwhelming or overwhelming, it's just whelming. See it goes. Frankly, the little trample effect is kind of nice, and I like the fact that it's not a fight effect, it deals damage, so it means in conjunction with Death Touch, it just becomes straight up removal, which is nice. Now, a Rabid Bite is not really something that gets used because there's always better versions of it, but something I will make a point in. This is like one of those effects that's like Domri's Ambush, it's like it has a fight or it has like a deal damage effect. This is instant, which is actually a huge difference. This card's actually really, really cool. For a common, I like it a lot. It does quite a lot. Next, we've got Plummet. It's just Plummet. Frankly, I think that Plummet's actually... I think Plummet's always been a D card to me, personally. But it is what it is. Plummet goes in D. Very, very limited, but it's like extremely bad sideboard tech. But it just needs to be there. Like, you go, okay, I guess I've got a Plummet, and then if it comes up, it comes up. If we're playing Flyers, cool. Next, we've got Ivy Elemental. This is about as C tier as a card could possibly get. In fact, I really might just make this D tier, because it is just a strictly worse Stonecoil Serpent. And I get that it's like, you know, an uncommon or whatever, but even at that, in terms of a limited format, it still requires a lot to get out of it. So I really think that it's just going to always be underwhelming. It's always going to be slightly overcosted. So yeah, it is what it is. Goes into D. So okay, a common that I actually think is probably underrated is, right, so we've got a 2 mana Mana Dork, which is nice. And it's a 1/3, which is so relevant because it can't be shocked or disfigured. not bad. Adds 1 mana of any colour. I think it's perfectly C worthy. There's no reason why this card is not a C, and if you say otherwise, we can fight. Next on the list is Honey Mammoth, pack filler as it gets. It's just a 6 mana elephant creature for 6/6, 4 and 2 green to cast. When it enters the battlefield, you gain 4 life. It is it's somehow a low C, high D. I guess this is probably D when you compare it to the other Ds. There's no way I could put it in C. D it goes. Next we've got Greater Sandworm, so Greater Sandworm is just better than the honey fucking elephant. So it is a 7 mana worm creature, 7/7, 5 and 2 green to cast. It can't be blocked by creatures with power 2 or less, and it's got cycling too. So it ties in with the cycling stuff. It's got a very, 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 very... It's got like a 1/6 of what a questing beast does. You know what, fuck it, this is D as well. It just doesn't do enough. It's just a guy. It's D. Flycatcher Giraffid. This is a 5 mana Antelope Lizard. 3/5 in stats. Enters the battlefield with your choice of Vigilance or a Reach counter on it. That's quite poor. This is so intensely understated. There's no reason why this couldn't have just been a 5/5. There is no reason. So I'm in fact putting this in D, because despite being a common, it doesn't need to be that fucking useless. So next we have Evacuation Mole, which is a 3 mana 3/3 mole creature, 2 and a green, has trample, and when it enters the battlefield, put the top 3 cards of your library into your graveyard. I actually think this card is totally fine, because it's just one of those things that it's like as on-curve statted as it could be, and the self-mill is, you know, if you're building around it, potentially useful. There's better self-mill guys, but it's also not strictly terrible. So yeah, sure, the card's fine. This one I think we can put in a C, just to make C. And the last of the green cards is Adventurous Impulse, which is a 1 mana green sorcery. Look at the top 3 cards of your library, reveal a creature or land card from among them, put it in your hand, put the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. So I mean, basically this card's just as good as Once Upon a Time. So it's like a kind of really dog shit Once Upon a Time. I would personally still much rather play Incubation, so it's worse than Incubation by a significant amount, but at the same time, I would put Incubation as like a B card. That card's insane. So I'm going to put this in C. In fact, no, this goes in D, because like Incubation exists. So yeah, it's literally just deck thin and limited. Bad card. Right, well that is all the green done. Let's try and fire through the red cards as quickly as possible. Spell Eater Wolverine, it is a 3 mana 3/2 Wolverine creature, and it has double strike as long as there's 3 or more instant or sorcery cards in your graveyard. Frankly, that's going to be quite great and limited. Double strike's insane. Art's pretty cool. Yeah, I think this can go in C. Is what it is. Next we have Rumbling Rockslide. It's a 4 mana red sorcery, 3 and a red to cast. Rumbling Rockslide deals damage to target creature equal to the number of lands you control. Fucking dog shit, straight into D. Next we've got Raking Claws, which is a 2 mana red instant. Target creature gains double strike till the end of the turn, and it has cycling 2. So both of those effects are good. See, if it gave double strike permanently, I would be like, this card is pretty decent, but that's not good enough. Into D it goes. It's like, sure, it's like good removal-ish, but it's just till the end of turn, and even at that, it doesn't make your guy bigger. It's got cycling, sure, but I just don't think it's good enough. Even in limited, it'd be a reluctant pick. Next we've got Pyroceratops, and it is a 4 mana elemental dinosaur creature with 2/3 for attack and defense. It has trample, and whenever you cast a non-creature spell, put a 1/1 counter on Pyroceratops. Now, put a 1/1 counter on it. So this gets like permanently bigger. So I actually think that in terms of a limited environment, it is like a kind of shitty version of Chandra's Phoenix thing. But I like the fact that it puts counters on it. So I think this card is priced safely in C. the fact that it doesn't lose the attack makes it definitely a little bit better than the D options that would generally be available with that kind of effect. Next we've got Prickly Marmoset, which is a 3 mana 2/3 monkey with first strike, which is fine. And whenever you cycle a card, it gets a +2/+0 to the end of the turn. So oddly, this card's like kind of like, for a common and the space it's trying to fill, I feel like it's oddly better than it should be. A 3 mana 2/3 with first strike, but is kind of like a 4/3 with first strike. And then like when you've got first strike, the 3 is irrelevant, so it's kind of okay. I think it's probably still a D type card, but it's kind of useful. Like, it's not terrible. So next for the big red guys, we've got Lava Serpent, which is a 6 mana elemental serpent creature with haste, which is nice. It's 5/5 and it's got cycling too. This is about as like bog standard as you can get. However, a guy with haste is actually pretty decent, so I think we can probably put him into C just because haste is particularly good and limited, I think. Next we've got the card Heightened Reflexes, and it is a 1 mana red instant. Target creature gets +1/+0 to end the turn. Put a first strike counter on it. Now, this is strictly better than Raking Claws for half the mana. So, yeah, let's definitely be putting Heightened Reflexes into C. I would even go as far to say as Heightened Reflexes going to high C. First strike counter, there's very few things that will just put first strike on something, and for 1 mana, that is like pretty big. Next, we're on to Frenzied Raptor, which is literally just a 3 mana 4/2 dinosaur. That's as far as that goes. Frankly, with these kind of guys, like, if it doesn't have an effect, it should at the very least have kind of be slightly overstated in some way. However, this is absolutely not. So this is straight into E tier. I would hate to pick that. Next we've got Ferocious Tigorilla, which is sick, I guess. And it is a 4 mana 4/3 cat ape creature, and it enters a battlefield with your choice of trample or menace counter on it. So it's like obvious, it's like still bad, but like choice is good. Menace good. You know, I'm still just going it's D, but it's still kind of like, it's like a good pick in D. Blisterspit Gremlin, and it is a 1 mana gremlin creature, not goblin, gremlin, make that a point, and it's 1/1, and you can pay 1 and tap it, and it deals 1 damage to each opponent. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, untap this card. This card is fucked with Torbran. This card's insane with Torbran. I'll do 3 to you. Do cast shock and deal 4 to you, and then I'll do another 3 to you. Yeah, that's, and you can do that off 4 mana, let's be fair. This is actually like high C tier common. I can actually see this legitimately being played, especially in Cavalcade Red. This is a good card that actually will probably see standard play, if I'm being totally honest. So yeah, into high C. So, I mean, this is just a 1 mana board wipe, right? So this is S tier, clearly, like, because you would never play it if it wasn't board wiping your opponent. So, it's de facto a 1 mana board wipe. I really wish this was better. Yeah. There's probably a way of making this kill everything, but I don't know what that is. If you're somehow able to give it Death Touch, I guess. So I just looked up. Apparently, Pestilent Spirit is a card that can give instants and sorceries Death Touch. So I'm absolutely playing that deck. That's really funny. So I think that I need to give this card. Oh, I think it's C. I think this card is a C. Just because it can potentially do something when all the cards in D just can't do anything really, but this can potentially do something. And that was it for all the red cards, so now we're on to the black cards, and we've got Whisper Squad, which is a 1 mana black 1/1 human soldier, and for 1 and a black, you can search a library for a card named Whisper Squad, and put it into the battlefield tapped. Shuffle your library. Obviously, I don't know why it needs to say shuffle your library, but I think this card is actually really kind of cool. You know, it's possible that like some kind of Rakdos cavalcade thing could be played, because it's like, right, well, now I'm actually getting like a 1/1 on board for the cavalcade. That's kind of cool. I'm going to give it C, because this is actually a very interesting effect that you don't normally see. Next card is Unlikely Aid, which is a 2-mana black instant. Target creature gets +2/+0 and gains indestructible till the end of turn. Now, indestructible effects are pretty decent and kind of hard to come by. I would genuinely love like one of these cards that would put an indestructible counter on something. That would be cool. That's never happening. That's never happening, but it would be quite nice. I think that this card is probably C. It's probably C, right? It never gets played, but a lot of stuff in that C won't get played. So yeah, I guess it's C, because indestructible is a keyword that generally you don't really see. Please bear in mind that the difference between like C cards and D cards is very little difference. Basically almost the same in terms of playability. But okay, so we've got Unexpected Fangs, which is a 2-mana black instant, which is put a 1/1 counter and a lifelink counter on target creature. But for 2-mana black instant, I could just be straight up destroying cards in this set. So this is straight up into the D. This is pretty poor, honestly. Although I will say the art is particularly great for this card. Next, we've got Suffocating Fumes, which is a 3-mana black instant. Creatures your opponent controls get -1/-1 till the end of turn, and it's got Cycling 2. So this, to me, is just straight up like a worse that volley card, right? Basically, right? Sure, the cycling's cool, but if you're playing like something like this, you're absolutely not using it for the cycling. As much as cycling is a bonus for cards, but this effect just isn't good enough to begin with. Yeah, I don't know if the Pestilence Spirit thing works with them, but at the same time, 3 mana versus 1 mana, yeah, this is a D. What I don't understand is why it doesn't just put a -1/-1 on everything. I'd say that's like fair for 3 mana if I'm being completely honest, or even make it 4 mana and just do that. But at the same time, like there's plenty of cards that do more than that. And I just don't see why this couldn't just go -1/-1 on everything. Because there's 3 mana board wipes. This isn't that. They could at least make it useful. Here's kind of an interesting card, actually. We have Serrated Scorpion, which is a 1 mana. A 1 mana black 1/2 Scorpion creature. And when it dies, it deals 2 damage to each opponent and you gain 2 life. This does a lot for 1 mana, not gonna lie. I wish to fucking god this is Death Touch like so much, but there's already like just 1 mana 1/1s with Death Touch, and if this had Death Touch plus that, it would be like, what the fuck? So I guess this is like a C tier card. Like for a 1 mana, this is, I don't know how much more you can cram into 1 mana if I'm being totally honest, but this is about the peak. Next we've got Nightsquad Commando, which is a 3 mana black 2/3 human soldier. And when it enters battlefield, if you attacked this turn, create a 1/1 white human soldier creature token. Frankly, there are cards like this that this should be 2 mana. If this was 2 mana, I would be all over it. Like it was a 2/2, and then if you'd attacked, you create like a 1/1 as well. I think that would be really, really cool. However, this is pretty good and limited, don't get me wrong. I think we can go as far to say is this is like, it's kind of like a strictly worse Lazotep Reaver, and Lazotep Reaver's only 2 mana, so this could have been 2 mana. I think that this is just good enough to see C tier. Just, I think. But again, it's just splitting hairs. It's high D. Okay, so here's a card, call me crazy. I think this might be a B common. So, sorcery, 1 mana. This spell has flash as long as you control a permanent with flash. As an additional cost to cast the spell, sacrifice a creature, destroy target creature. So, in the kind of deck that you would play this in, if you're playing it correctly, this is intensely incredibly good removal. Like, beyond fucking incredible. 1 mana removal. What more can you really say? I genuinely think this is B. I really, really do. Because even outside of it gets the flash thing, it's still pretty decent. Bone Splinters is like a fine card. The fact that this can have flash, fuck. Absolutely. I'm putting this in B, and if you have a problem with it, let's fucking chat about it. Like, I can actually see myself playing this card, simply because 1 mana removal is fucking incredible, and there's so much token generation, so yeah, come at me if you have an issue with this. Alright, next in the list is Memory Leak, and it is a 3 mana black sorcery. Target opponent reveals their hand, choose a non-land card from that player's graveyard or hand and exile it, cycling 1. God, I just wish this was 2 mana and it just dealt like 5 damage to you. This card is like almost insane, but I understand that like you're just going to still play Agonizing Remorse, so for that, like, there's just so many better options. I think it has, like, for looking at your hand, it can't be worse than C, but it's like low C. Next we've got Lurking Deadeye, which is a 4 mana human assassin creature. Next we've got Lurking Deadeye, which is a 4/2 human assassin creature with flash, and it's 3 and a black to cast. And when it enters the battlefield, destroy target creature that was dealt damage this turn. Now it does have flash, so realistically this is basically just removal. Block my guy in, you took damage, flash us in, now your guy's dead. Sounds like a C card to me. So we actually do have another rare on the list, and it is a 3 mana 4/5 nightmare creature with menace, and when it enters battlefield, target opponent puts a death touch counter on a target creature they control. Like, I get that it's 4/5 for 3, but Rotten Regisaur is 7/6, and that's a rare, and I get that that has a really bad downside, but giving one of your guys death touch for a 4/5 guy, it's fucking terrible. This card's terrible. Maybe the whole point is you play it when they don't have a guy, I guess. In saying that, I just wouldn't ever play this. Ever. It's not big enough to be a good... Is this the first D rare? No, there is one. Is this the second D rare? I guess it's technically overstated and it has menace, so I think this is C. So the card might be a C, but I am telling you right now, I am gonna hate opening this thing from a fucking pack. Next we've got Durable Coil Bug, which is a 2 mana black 2/2 insect, and you can pay 4 and a black to return it from your graveyard to your hand. So this is just like a worse version of Gutter Bones or this thing, just in every single respect. And for that, it's going in D because I guess it has some use in Limited, just as like a guy that always comes back. But ultimately, I'm so close to putting this in E, but it's so outclassed by so many other cards. Next we've got Deadweight. It's just Deadweight. It is 1 mana, basically just Disfigure, but it's an aura. I guess this is just D. Like, well, I guess Disfigure is like C, so this is like basically C as well. Next we have Dark Bargain, and this is a 4 mana black instant. Look at the top 3 cards of your library, put 2 of them into your hand, and the other 2 into your graveyard, and then it deals 2 damage to you. So this is like these pseudo draw cards. And it's got like a little bit of like graveyard dump. I think that this is a D tier card because there's so many versions of this that you would just much rather they're either like more mana efficient or just drawable cards, and you'd probably just rather draw into stuff that specifically dumps into the grave, but you just have more efficient draw. 4 mana is quite a lot, so I'm gonna have to put this in D. I guess it's nice like replenishment to your hand and Limited. At the same time, that's really as far as I can go with this. and it's like a bad version of the cards that do that. Alright, now another one, Corpse Churn, and it is a 2 mana black instant. Put the top 3 cards of your library in your graveyard, then return a creature card from your library to your hand. Again, there's like a bajillion different effects that are all just variations of this. I actually quite like that this is 3 mana, put the top 3 in. It could probably do with like a few extra, but just the fact that you'd want to be playing this in self-mill, it's not terrible. I mean, I just find it insane that Stitcher Supplier is like a 1 mana guy and that mills 3, so it kind of just like, you know, you're not losing any cards potentially or anything. So I would much rather Stitcher Supplier, but this is pretty close, so I think this is just in the brink of C. Next one, Boot Nipper, and this is a 2 mana, 2/1 beast creature, and it enters the battlefield with your choice of Death Touch or Lifelink counter. Honestly, that's like fine in limited. It's a D tier. Even Death Touch, which is like a good one, like it's a D tier card, but I would pick it in limited just because Death Touch is like so incredibly good in limited. And next on the list is Blitzleech, which is it's a draft card, but so it's a 6 mana black 5/2 leech with flash, and when it enters the battlefield, target creature opponent controls gets -2/-2 till end of turn, and then remove all counters from that creature. Now, bearing in mind that being a 5/2, if it gives something -2/-2, it can hit something that has 4 attack and survive. Nope, it has to have 3 attack for it to survive. Or it can trade into something with 7 defense. So that's like a fair amount of like what it can hit. And it's got flash. I've been inclined to say this is C, because this is actually probably fairly useful in limited. Not only that, it has the ability to kill 2 things, because you can block and kill 1 thing and then zap another thing that has smaller toughness. So yeah, I mean, I guess this is a C card, just because remember, something that's specifically very good in limited, that's like a snap pick, is definitely something worth taking into consideration. So remember, it has to be very good and limited to be able to make it out of D, but yeah, is what it is. So, finally done all the blacks, and now we're on to the blues. And we're on to Wingspan Mentor, which is a 3 mana human wizard creature with 1/3, 2 and a blue to cast. When it enters the battlefield, put a flying counter on target non-human creature you control, and you can pay 2 and a blue and tap it, and then put a 1/1 counter on each creature you control with flying. This isn't terrible. Like, it's another keyword mentor, and being able to give something flying is pretty good. I think this actually can go into C, because giving something flying that shouldn't have flying is actually pretty nice. Now we're on to Startling Development, which is a 2 mana blue instant, 1 and a blue to cast. Until the end of the turn, target creature becomes a blue serpent with base power and toughness 4/4, and you've got cycling 1. I imagine that this card has a number of very interesting applications. I think given that this has got like a 1 mana cycling, and you can like buff something up to 4/4, buff it down to 4/4, I am going to say this is a C card, just because you can get creative with it. This should be the last rare of the full video, and it is a 4 mana blue sorcery, 2 and 2 blue cast. It's called Mythos of Eluna. Create a token that's a copy of target permanent. If red and green was also spent to cast this spell, instead create a token that's a copy of that permanent, but the token also has, when this permanent enters the battlefield, if it's a creature, it fights up to 1 target creature you don't control. So this card is actually pretty cool, because you can straight up just make a copy of target permanent, as opposed to stuff like Mirror Maid, which is like only artifacts and enchantments. You can make a copy of a guy or a planeswalker or anything like that, and it's only 4 mana. But I guess if you were going to do a deck that revolved around copying things, you'd have cheaper, more specific copying cards. Bearing in mind that this can copy anything. It just says copy a target permanent, so you can hit anything on the board as well, so you can copy your opponent's things. I'm finding this card actually kind of hard to place, to be honest. I think it's C. It's not D, but I can't put it higher than C. Most things being C, and this is also a rare. C it goes. Next we've got Mystic Subdual, which is a 2-mana enchantment aura with flash, and you enchant creature, and enchanted creature gets -2/-0, loses all abilities. So this is actually like one of the kind of better ones of these kind of flashy in aura, the guy just becomes nothing kind of effects. There's like a million of them, but this one is pretty decent because it also has flash, which is quite a big deal. So yeah, C. It's kind of hard to give something like this less than C, especially because this is just built for creating like ruling conflicts. Another 2-mana blue card, and we've got Hampering Snare, which is it's an instant and it's 1 blue to cast. Creatures your opponent controls gets -2/-0 to end the turn. Cycling 2. I guess this is like, it's not like a board wipe per se, but it allows you to block your guys in without dying, which I guess is nice. And the Cycling 2 is good in case you just definitely don't need it, but it's pretty cheap for what it does, so I guess this goes into C. I would probably never really want to pick this. God, I'm really kind of more going to put this in the high D, I think. It's kind of hard to justify it going into C when you look at the other things that exist there. Next we've got Gust of Wind, which is a 4-mana blue sorcery. It costs 2 less to cast if you control a creature with flying, so it should realistically cost 1 blue to cast. Return target non-land permanent you don't control to its owner's hand, and then draw a card. I think this card is really, really fucking cool. So it's like tempo removal for Azorius Flyers. That seems kind of cool, if you ask me. So what, you go turn 1, play Healer's Hawk, turn 2, play this, draw a card, just bounce their thing, that's cool, they're just back a turn. Yeah, this card actually seems fucking good. So I definitely think Gust of C is a C card. I mean, this might even be a high C card. Like, I'd play this. If that card was an instant, my god, it would be so cool. However, if you're playing Azorius Flyers, you should be playing Teferi, so it kind of could be an instant. Next card is called Glimmerbell, and it is a 2-mana elemental jellyfish, 1/3, has flying, and for 2 mana you can untap it. This card's fucking dog shit. I have no idea. So here's the thing, right? This could potentially be like a mutate target. Like, getting to untap the whole mutate stack is kind of good for only 2 mana. However, I don't think people will be basing their deck around that sort of thing, and that is what it is. So I guess we'll see if people can get creative with this card. For now, I'm going to put it in D, because currently that doesn't exist, which I've probably been a massive hypocrite with whatever that reasoning was, but it is what it is. It's cool, but that doesn't make it good. Next we've got Frostveil Ambush, which is a 5-mana blue instant, and it's tap up to 2 target creatures. Those creatures don't untap during the controller's next untap step, and it's got Cycling 1. This is so intensely mana inefficient, like, fucking hell. I'm paying 5 mana to not kill anything. Oh, I don't like that. And I understand, yeah, cool, you can tap it down and then they don't get the thing, you can attack past them, sure, but for 5 mana? Ugh. It just seems so overcosted. Cycling 1, sure, whatever. Just get out your hand if it is too much at the time it's useful for, but this is still a D card, I think. So we've got Frost Lynx back again. This card already exists. It's a 3-mana elemental cat, and when it comes in, you can tap one thing. This card's D. I really hate having to pick this. I really hate blue generally when it comes to like limited formats, because there's no solid removal. You're just like kind of doing nothing for a while and then you lose cards. So yeah, I mean that's just my general opinion. But Frost Lynx, it's just comes in, taps a thing, doesn't untap, 3 mana, 2/2. Now we've got another card which is Facet Reader, which is a 2-mana human wizard, and it's pay 1 and tap it, draw a card and discard a card. That's like fine, but I think it's D. It just doesn't really do enough. It's slow. It's not like pay 1 and tap it and draw a card, or It's just slow and bad. Into D it goes. That's not seeing any real play. Even limited, that's fucking poor. So now we've got Crustacean, which is a 4 mana 1/6 with Flash. This card's hilarious. I'm so... right, look, see if it was like a 1/7, I'd be putting it in C. But it's D. I do like that it is like a cool flash in blocker for 4 mana, but with only 1 attack it's not enough, and it's not high enough defense to completely mitigate shit for like a really low cost. So yeah, it is what it is. It's into D. This card's really, it's just the gimmick of it being a big flash crab. That's all it is, right? That's just why it's there. So next we've got a counter spell in the set, and it's Convolute, which is obviously a reprint, except this card is absolute dog shit and you should never play it. So it's I would honest to God say that this card is almost E tier, but this is like low D in terms of like it's even bad and limited. Like, cool, I get it that it's good like turn 3 and like, you know, 4 or whatever. After that, totally useless. And it's kind of it's not highly costed, but it's not Sinister Sabotage level. So into D it goes. Turns out some counter spells are just D tier, and Convolute is that. So we're on to the third last blue card, and it's Avian Oddity, and it is a 4 mana 2/4 bird creature with flying. Well, I would hope, considering it's a bird, but it's got a 3 mana cycle on it, which is pretty expensive. But when you cycle this card, put a flying counter on target creature you control. So it is like essentially 3 mana, draw a card, give something flying, and then if you need it to be, it is a guy with flying. I think that's like kind of fine and probably like really like a good pick in limited. So I am going to say that this is a C tier card. Flying is definitely one of the better keywords. Cool, so we have Anticipate. Anticipate's actually just a really good card, so I think I'll just put this in C. I don't think we needed an Anticipate reprint. I'm pretty sure it's been in almost every set. I know it was an M20, so that's pretty recent reprint, but who cares? But yeah, Anticipate's good. So the last blue card is hilarious. It is a 1 mana 0/5 turtle, not defender. I wish to God that this had like a keyword or something, like Death Touch, something insane, just so I could justify putting this in B. A 1 mana 0/5 is so funny, but that's still not good enough to justify it. I'm almost tempted to put it in C, because being as cheap as it is and not having defender means that it's technically usable in some respects, but I just don't really know what those respects are. But the comments are pretty funny for sure. In the kind of deck where it's like, oh, creatures deal damage equal to its toughness or whatever, this is like snap pick. But until we're drafting that cube, I guess this is just a C tier card. But I like the fact that the card exists. It sparks joy. Now finally, we're on to the white cards. Let's try and blast through this so I'd love to have this video under an hour. Okay. Solid Footing is a 1 mana white enchantment with flash, which is cool. Enchanted creature gets +1/1, and as long as enchanted creature has vigilance, it assigns combat damage equal to its toughness rather than its power. I guess. And the kind of deck that this would be used in is obviously useful. Those decks suck dick, however. So I guess this is like a D tier card. I guess we could put it like high D, because like, you know, it's a permanent +1/+1 boost or whatever, but ultimately now we're on to Perimeter Sergeant, which is a 3 mana 3/2 human soldier creature, 2 and a white to cast, and whenever it attacks, other humans you control get +1/+0 to the end of the turn. It's just an extremely bad lord. I'm putting this into D. So tempted to put it into E, but D it goes. Right, so we've got Manade Serval, which is a 2 mana 1/4 with Vigilance cat. This is kind of very oddly statted, actually. A 1/4 with Vigilance is kind of nice, actually. And for 2 mana, this is probably quite a good limited pick. I think we could probably safely say this goes into C. But, however, someone mentioned in the comments that this card plus that enchantment aura actually makes this, on turn 3, you've got a 5/5 with Vigilance. That's nice. If you can draft that, then good on you. But otherwise, you know, it's kind of whatever. This card, however, is pretty solid, I think. Next card is Light of Hope. Now, I think this card is really, really cool. There seems to be like a bunch of like 1 mana cards that give like a lot of value. And this is one of them. So we have choose one, you gain 4 life, destroy target enchantment, or put a 1/1 counter on target creature. I think that the amount of utility that this card has is actually really, really cool. So I'm going to put this card in C. C tier common is really, really nice. It's about as best as a common can really hope to be. Alright, 5th last card, and it is Imposing Vantasaur, which is a 6 mana white dinosaur creature with Vigilance, 3/6, and it has Cycling 1. Cool. And that's all that is. This card is pretty terrible, to be honest. Straight into D. This is very almost E, but Vigilance is like a decent enough keyword. I mean, it's like a big blocker, but it really doesn't, like, it. The 3 makes it it's just a blocker, and it doesn't really produce much pressure for your opponent. You'd really have to, like, I guess this again combos with that, like, enchantment. I don't know if all the fucking cards in the set apparently need to combo with that. So that makes it a 7/7 with Vigilance with footing, but otherwise this is simply a D. Next we've got Divine Arrow, which I'm pretty sure is another reprint, and this is a 2 mana white instant, and it deals 4 damage to target attacking or blocking creature. So I guess that this is like, it's D tier removal, but it is like kind of okay. Like, I wouldn't hate to pick this, but it's not removal as you would wish. Daysquad Marshal is up next, and this is a 4 mana 3/3 human soldier, 3 and a white cast, and when it enters battlefield, create a 1/1 white human soldier creature token. So I guess this is basically fine. This is actually seems to be like a worse version of the black one, where it's like if something is attacked this turn, then it's 3 mana and you create a 1/1 human. See, because of that card's existence, I really feel like this is the point where this kind of effect becomes a D tier. 4 mana split between, like, sure, yeah, I'm feeling D. I'm feeling D. I'm feeling D. Next we have Coordinated Charge, which is a 5 mana white instant. Creatures you control get +2/+1 till end of turn. Okay, and it has Cycling 2. This is extremely underwhelming. I get that, you know, it buffs all your guys. It's one of those, like, you know, charge effects. Sure, I get it. But personally, those always seem to be like the worst cards to pick. They just kind of lie in your hand for ages. You know, you actually have to have the push set up, and if your opponent's like, you know, it's a back and forth game, these cards become really bad. I guess the cycling certainly adds to that. I guess we can put this in the high D category, but that's really as far as I want to put that card. The final card of the set is Blade Banish, and this is a 4 mana white instant, and it's a common. Exile target creature with power 4 or greater. This is legitimately a great limited pick. This is the kind of removal that white really needs for like a limited environment. It seems like the other colours kind of have, aside from blues, Jesus, blue is terrible in this for limited in this set anyway, at least as far as I'm concerned. But this is actually pretty cool, so I'm going to put this straight into C simply because of like how solid it is as a limited pick. It's not particularly great. Like, I guess it's like so kind of like Vraska's Contempt, but obviously not at all. But I mean, it is what it is. It's a good limited pick, and it exiles, which is kind of nice. And that brings us to the end of the list. Interestingly, only two S tier cards, plenty of A's for sure, tons of great B's that I'd be happy to open out of a pack, any one of these for sure. Maybe a few high C's that I wouldn't mind holding on to just in case they're good. Obviously there's some of these cards that could potentially make it up to B rank, I mean maybe even A, who knows. I'd like to maybe do like a retrospective, like just before the next set comes out, and go, well, you know, how accurate was this list? Hopefully you enjoyed my ramblings on all these cards and how probably wrong I am about 30% of them. But I know that, like, generally these cards here are probably worth where they're meant to be. The thing I'm most curious about my own list is what cards realistically are E tier that aren't these 5. There must be more, surely. There's probably like a few D tier cards that should really be bumped up. I'm really borderline on solid footing because, like, with the amount of things that have vigilance and giving things vigilance, this ends up becoming like a bit of a kind of a combat trick, which is fine, I guess. But I'm sure the thing that you're all wondering is, what is my favourite land of the set? And the answer to that is this swamp right here. I'm a sucker for the purple and blue. However, the Rugged Highlands admittedly does stand out quite nicely as well. But that is the end of this video series, and it was absolutely not worth the time that I put into it. I would be shocked if anybody's made it this far. So if you have, tell me in the comments, please. I need to know how many people made it this far. But yeah, I now need to edit this video as quickly as I can, but it should be up, well, today for you guys. But thank you for anybody that did watch, and yeah, I guess I will see you in the next video, which is probably going to be Bant Blink, so enjoy that. Catch you in the next one. See you later. Hey, so thanks for watching this video to the end, and again, if you enjoyed this video, please consider liking, commenting, and subscribing and hitting the bell icon if you enjoyed it. And also, if you really enjoyed it, go follow us on Facebook and Twitter if you like magic memes, and go follow us on Twitch as well, where you get to watch videos like this happen live. And obviously, that means you get to interact with us as well, and we're pretty cool. You'll like us. Anyway, just thanks a lot, and we'll see you in the next video.